So for option B, this is kind of like a mini version of option A. Option A is for maybe a student who has a lot of research done already and they're able to kind of pull it together into what we're looking for. Option B is like a mini version. Option B is going to be you exploring your family and kind of letting us know what it was like for them in the early 1900s. So, for example, my family, early 1900s, on my side of the family is a cross between Scottish and English. So, by this time in history, they are already here in the United States. So I'm going to discuss with you what it was like for them while they were here. I would have expanded paragraph summary, so make sure you go over to the orientation module, look up the discussion rubrics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little research first, just to make sure I know what I'm talking about when it comes to my family line in the 1900s. Not specifically, obviously, I don't know for sure what my great-great-great-grandparents were doing, but I do know what the Scottish English people were doing in general during that time period based on research. For example, I would have been like, hey, what was it like for a Scottish immigrant in the United States during the early 1900s? You know, what was it like for an English immigrant during the Industrial Revolution in the United States? So I was able to do some research, and then I was able to explore what their customs would have been like. You know, what were the customs of a Scottish immigrant in America in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I could start forming a picture and possibly compare that to the stories I may have heard growing up. And then that's why I said our research is here. It's a lot of like research, interviewing any family members I might have. So now it's time to write. Okay, how did historical events shape my family's culture? So they're coming over during the Industrial Revolution. This is the Reconstruction era, and this is going to be pre-World War I. So this is the time period you're in, 1850 to like 1910. This is the era of modernity that we're in right now. So how are those events shaping them? I can tell you now, my family is a bunch of poor Scottish farmers. So when the Industrial Revolution kicked off in the late 1800s, they all had to switch professions. And this is also the Reconstruction era. So you have a huge migration of people coming out of the South. So there was a lot of job competition and research competition, but it was also an explosion of creativity and art. So a lot of stuff was going on at the same time. What traditions did I find most meaningful? So there's a few in the history through my interviews that I was able to find, but I actually found a few online that if it was a part of my family, it would be really cool. And how did these events influence my identity today? What does my heritage say about me today? Did I bring any forward? Am I doing something that they're doing? Am I completely neglected my historical past? So this one just gives you a chance to kind of explore your family history line during the time period of 1850 to 1910, and you're writing it up for us in an expanded paragraph summary. So be sure to go to the orientation module and make sure you get the rubrics for the discussion. So we're looking for the background of your family, you know, what was going on, what were the implications of all that, like why does it all matter? We want to hear your story in this little mini historical research project. So this is what this one is. If you need more information about it, you know, you can message me and I'll help you with all of this. I've had quite a few students come through here doing this, and they've had different communities and cultures. So I've already kind of got a few links in the back of my mind if you're having a research block. So be sure to reach out to me.